shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. I'm I'm shocked and appalled. Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. This is the BS Buddies podcast. I'm your host, Ian. That is your host, Joe.
Hello.
And today we've got a wonderful topic for you. We've got the good old-fashioned 2 truths and 1 lie. We will give out a series of 3 statements. One of them is a falsity, and you must determine which one it is before we... Are we revealing which one's the lie, or are we just going to keep it a mystery for them?
For mine, they're not bad enough, so I will tell you which one is the lie. Ian, you can do what you want. That's fine with me.
I'll reveal.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
But for me, I couldn't really think of any to start, but once I figured out, like, oh, what if I put them in different groups? Then it became a lot easier. So I got 4 different groups for myself, and the first one, obviously, if you know me, I gotta go with baseball. And at least for the first one, done a lot of things on the field. This is kind of me bragging, kind of me not. I don't like coming off as a cocky person. I like to be confident. I believe I'm a great baseball player.
Strut your stuff a little bit, Joe. You got lots of skill on the mound. Hell, we talked about your curveballs in one of these episodes, and I can't hit them for shit. Strut your stuff. Strut your stuff.
Okay.
Let's see it.
2 truths, 1 lie out of these 3. Number 1, I finished pitching a 6-inning game in under 50 pitches. That's 1. 2, I have thrown a perfect game on the mound.
Oh.
And 3, I have thrown 3 no-hitters on the mound.
Oh.
Yeah, I made sure it was tough and they were similar.
God, that is right up the alley. Okay. So we've got you through.
So I'll recap.
6 innings. Yeah, 6 innings.
6-inning game with under 50 pitches, a perfect game, and 3 no-hitters.
Oh, let's see. You know, I think. Oh, God. You know, okay, here's the problem that I run into, right? And this is related to the issue, is that my gut tells me the number 3 is the lie. But then I think about it, and then I second guess myself. And then I go, oh, but maybe the perfect game, because perfect game, that's very impressive. And I do believe it could happen. But 3 no-hitters versus a perfect game, and then I get caught in this loop of second guessing myself when I should have went with my gut in the first place. So
while you think, I'll give you a second to think. For those of you who don't know what the difference is, because there is a difference, a perfect game, nobody gets on base. So the pitcher doesn't throw a walk, nobody gets on via a mistake from the field. And a no-hitter is no one gets a hit, but you could give up a walk and ruin a perfect game, but it could still be a no-hitter. Or a fielder makes a bad play, causing an error. So in a no-hitter, someone can get on base without a hit. A perfect game, no one gets on base at all. Have you decided?
I think... I feel like I gotta go, and this is not a knock against you in any way or capacity. I gotta go with perfect game because the astronomical odds and ability to be able to pull that off is like up there. So I'm gonna go with perfect game. Perfect game is the lie.
And Ian, you are correct.
Oh,
I have not thrown a perfect game. There was 1 6-inning game. I threw 48 pitches, which is...
I knew that one. I remember that one.
I think the longest I think I threw 10 pitches in one inning, and that was the most. The rest were like 4 to 6 pitches because the batters kept hitting the ball to my fielder and they would just get out. The 3 no hitters, one of them should have been a perfect game, but I gave up a walk on the first batter. No one else got on.
Ah, screw that first guy. Just beat him with his own bat. It didn't count. We'll go back and we'll change that score for you, buddy.
Funnily enough, as well, he actually scored, so uh, it wasn't even a shutout. They got 1 run because he walked. The ball got past the catch. No, he stole second. The ball got past the catcher twice, so he scored that way.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
So walk over him with cleats so that he's got more holes in him than a fine Swiss cheese.
But good job.
I'm looking out for you, buddy. And thank you. I appreciate that. I knew for sure the 6 innings and under 50 pitches was a real one because I remember that one. I know we talked about it at some point and I'm like, nah, he could definitely do that. I 100% see that, but I was like, perfect game or 3 no-hitters. God, that's a
huge toss up.
All right, so it's my turn, my turn, my turn. All right. Well, I'm gonna make this one military themed, just right from the get-go, because that's what I've had a lot of experience in. So,
If you start naming off like I've used this weapon, or this weapon, I have no idea. I just
I'm
want to
not
throw
gonna.
that out there.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm not gonna get that specific with it. No, no, no,
I've
no.
used the MG42 flame throwing grenade launcher from the Marines.
I want that weapon. I really want that weapon, whatever that is. I want the MG42 flame throwing. Okay, here's the questions now, Joe. You've asked
Okay,
these. We got to go
okay.
down this rabbit hole for a second. If it's an MG42 firing grenades that are filled with napalm, is that what is that? Could we consider that a weapon? Because that's what I want for a weapon. Because the MG42 is like 1,500 rounds a minute. Firing grenades filled with napalm, ain't nobody gonna have a good day with that. Nobody's gonna have a good day with that.
I guess I tried to make up a fake gun and then just kind of
You
said a
made it
real
sound
one
way
with
too
extra
cool.
attachments.
You made it sound way too cool, and now we have to go. Well, that's basically what the Mark 19 grenade launcher is. It's like if you gave a 5-year-old a piece of paper and a crayon and said, "Make up a really cool weapon that you want to see," and he went, "I want a machine gun grenade launcher." That's basically what that is. But I digress. Anyways, before we go too far down the rabbit hole and end up in Wonderland, I'll keep mine pretty simple. So, 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I have ridden inside an M1 Abrams main battle tank. Number 2, I have been on an aircraft carrier. And number 3, I have gotten to ride inside a C-130 cargo transport plane. Not the cool one with the guns on it, just a regular one.
So,
Which one do you think might be the
the second one
lie
was
out of
the
those
cargo plane?
aircraft carrier?
Aircraft carrier.
It's a
Okay.
boat. A big old boat.
Aircraft carrier, and then the third one.
C-130 cargo transport plane. I made these. I tried to keep it vague enough that it sounds, roughly realistic. And for anybody who's watching at home, just for funsies, if you'd like to join in, my MOS was an artilleryman, so that helps you absolutely none at all because none of those things are related to artillery in any way, shape, or form. So I was happy to provide that hint for you at no extra charge. No need to thank me.
I believe the lie is the aircraft carrier.
You believe the lie is the aircraft carrier?
Because I remember you telling me how to start up a tank and telling me how that goes, and I think it's if you don't know how a tank starts up, that's not at all what I thought. I thought it was just key ignition, let's go, not spin a frickin' wheel and maybe we'll get going. And then I remember you telling me you were on a big aircraft, but I could have heard you wrong and you said carrier, but I believe you were on whatever seaplane. So I'm going to stick with the lie is the carrier, aircraft carrier.
Ah, well, Joe, I have to say that you are, in fact, Incorrect.
Damn it.
The lie is the M1 Abrams battle tank. I have not, in fact, ridden inside one, but I did get to see a bunch of them drive by in a convoy once when I was on a training mission out in 29 Palms, California. Shout out to my homies in 29 Stumps. Life sucks, I know. Um, the aircraft carrier one, I was actually aboard the USS America, which, for anyone out there, is not a super carrier, but is in fact a single runway carrier designed for aircraft with the capability to land and take off straight up and down. VTOL, they call that, vertical takeoff and landing. It's a short ship, and I spent about a month and a half, 2 months on board. I actually got on board the ship just before COVID hit. I went over to
Is that the one you
Thailand
were
on
stuck
board
on?
the ship. Yep,
Oh,
that's the one I was stuck on.
thought you were stuck on like a submarine or something. Or like, I
It
didn't
was
know it was an aircraft carrier. Thought it was
yeah,
just a big
I,
ship.
I got you with that one. I mean, and to be fair, it was a big ship. It kind of did
God,
suck.
I
We actually
suppose.
had we had one day where they finally let us up on the runway so that we could get some fresh air and some sunshine. And it's not that they don't let us outside. It's not like stay in your
It
berthing and never see sunlight. No, it's none of that
it
nonsense.
was COVID.
It was going. We had to social distance from all the
Social
sea life
distance on
and the
an
other.
aircraft carrier.
And a tugboat would get too close, and we just point every weapon aboard at it and be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Back up, big boy! I don't want the Rona. You need to stay away." But we, they were doing. I don't know what they're doing, like a 5K for something, which is basically they let everybody up on the deck, and then you do like 10 laps around this little quarter-mile sized deck. And I remember it was very nauseating because like it wasn't particularly rough seas that day, but ships still sway and move with
And
the
you got
current of the ocean and the wave. So like you'd be running and like the bow would dip down and be like ocean, sky. And after a while it was like, oh my God. And like keep in mind, because this is an aircraft carrier, there's no fences around the edge of this deck. There's like a little net that's like 5 to 6 feet down to catch you if you fall, but there's no fences or nothing like that around the edge. So you're just running up there going, "Yes, I can taste the undercooked chicken they served us for lunch. I'm about to feed the fishes." Like it was something else, I tell you what. And the C-130, to wrap up my story, that was a short little jaunt we left out of an Air Force base, and I got to fly with that and see some F-35. Boring, not cool. The aircraft carrier was where it was at, but yeah, that was all the fun stuff.
So for the next one is a topic that I don't ever talk about because I'm not super big into it. I've thought about getting back into it, but my beginnings were not great, I want to say. I'll explain at the end. So this is about hunting. And don't for anyone who's against it, I'm not going into detail. It's like just chill out, stay here. You're in a safe place. Okay.
Disclaimer, we do not hunt for sport. We hunt for meat and we make use of the animal and we make sure that we do not waste. To put anyone's worries at rest, we're not trophy hunters.
No. So this one is very, very narrow. I have gone deer hunting, I have gone duck hunting, and I have gone turkey hunting. One of those is a lie.
Ooh, well, ooh, deer hunting, I can in fact believe because that's quite common. In fact, it's very rare to meet somebody from our neck of the woods who has not gone deer hunting. Um, because God, I mean, pretty much anybody with a freaking field and a rifle can go deer hunting. So I would have to say that that one is definitely a truth. So that leaves the toss up between duck and turkey hunting. Now, of those two, I have to say that turkey hunting I could believe because, you only need a shotgun loaded with some birdshot or a rifle if you feel so inclined to be extremely overpowered, or a bow and arrow if you're one of those fellows who likes to go out and do that nonsense. I can't do that. I can't shoot a bow and arrow worth of crap. So I'm going to say that the duck hunting one is a lie because, Joe, I love you, buddy. For the life of me, I cannot see you putting on waders and going out and sitting in a freaking swamp for like 4 hours just to see a flock fly by and go, there they are, and lighten them up. So I'm going to
Why?
say the duck hunting one is a lie.
Why not?
Why
Because
not?
because you know
You like
exactly who I am and that I'd never gone duck hunting before.
to be
Yeah.
fair, I've never gone duck hunting either because I'm not wearing waders to go sit out in some freaking cold water at 6 in the morning to wait for whack whack to fly overhead. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind duck. I think it's a very unique. I was about to say exquisite. It's a very unique taste, but I don't go actively hunting for it.
I was hoping to throw you off because there were quite a few people in high school with us that went duck hunting, so I was hoping to
I
throw you off of like they invited me out and like had gear. I've gone turkey hunting once, and all my times hunting didn't kill an animal. Just so you know. But I went
was
turkey
that.
hunting. What?
I was gonna say, did you not see anything, or did you miss?
Did not shoot the gun. Uh,
Fair. That's fair.
for turkey hunting, I did see a few. One of the turkeys fanned out. Actually, I've only gone the one time, and they fanned out, but they were too far away. I went with my dad's buddy, and kind of showed me the ropes. I remember there was one turkey me and my dad were kind of tracking, like he was walking away, and we were trying to sneak over. And I just started making Duck Dynasty references to my dad and making him crack up. uh, and that's when the
That's
show was like at its peak. So I was just saying a bunch of funny things.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You had all the pop culture references ready to go. No, it's not necessarily that I know you so well, Joe. I just started thinking about it, right? And I kind of know what goes in deer hunting, right? That's pretty standard
Yeah, that
for where we were born and raised. And so then it comes down to duck and turkey. And of those two, I know turkey hunting is not necessarily easier in essence of finding the animal, but it's easier in the fact that you don't quite need as much gear and you definitely don't have to go out and sit in some lake and try and lead a target overhead. And I thought, of these two, which would Joe be more likely to try?
yeah,
Probably turkey hunting.
I completely forgot about like how much goes into duck hunting. Like it's very different. I was just hoping to stump you on the two birds.
You did for a second there. I was like, oh God, turkey or duck, which one? Because then I started thinking, does he have like a distant relative that I don't know about who just like owns a lagoon somewhere and he's like floating out there in a John boat? And then I started thinking about it and I was like, imagine, because one of the things they have for duck hunting, right, is a duck blind, which is like
Yep.
it's literally like you lay down in this casket style
Legit. If you don't know what
contraption.
a duck blind is, like there's some that are, like you lay down, you cover yourself with leaves, you just wait, and then once they go, you just like sit up like Dracula and just start
Yeah,
shooting
for
your
for anybody
shotgun.
who is not in the know, please go on YouTube right now and look it up because it's kind of funny how it happens. Like these blinds are sitting in the weeds, completely camouflaged, and then as soon as the flock flies over, they bust out of it like freaking Hulk Hogan, brother, and they just start lighting them up, and it's something else to watch. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that was great. And then I just want to do one note on deer hunting. I still get made fun of because on like my second or third day, I fell asleep in the stand. But we were in a field where there was nothing but cows, and I was not used to waking up at 5 in the morning. But when I went to sight in my rifle, first time, which is basic for those of you who don't know, getting the scope ready. Um, yeah, my dad didn't like change it, so it was super zoomed in, and me being 12 or 13 didn't think anything of it. Shot, scope right between my eyes, scope bite, and it
Oh,
swelled up really bad. I had religious education at church that night, and I didn't want to go because I was embarrassed by it, and I didn't want to explain it So I was telling my mom,
Got in a fight in the parking lot on the way in.
I was telling my mom, I'm like, I'm worried that they're gonna make fun of me, and she's like, straight up, word for word, this is what she said to tell them. She said, "Tell them I beat you up." Straight up, that's what.
That makes it so much better.
So I go to my Catholic education class with people I've known my whole life who have known my mom pretty much their whole lives at that time. My buddy at the time asked, like, "Hey, what happened?" I'm like, "Oh, my mom beat me up." I legit said that. And he's like, "Really? Did she?" And I didn't say anything else. And he fully believed
Nothing
me.
else. Nothing else. He's just like, yeah, my mom beat me up. What happened? I burnt the spaghetti. Just, how dare you wreck dinner? Just.
But yeah, so I haven't gone
Oh,
deer hunting in a long time, and that just not great memories. So I thought
oh.
about getting back into it, though. We'll see.
So it's an excellent skill to have. Like, I'm not a particularly big hunter myself, but it is an excellent skill to have, or at least know how to do in the event should you need it. And I'm dying because something's caught in my throat. Oh. I'm no longer dying. We're okay. Everybody stop panicking. I know you were all worried. It's fine. I'm okay. Now, I need to think what my next one is going to be because I wanted to make it somewhat outdoorsy related to yours, but I wasn't quite sure.
Otherwise, I could go to my next one if you need to think more.
I've got a good one for you. I've got a good one for you. This has to do with crashes,
Oh, lovely.
accidents, so to speak. Now, um, let's see. In what order should I do these? Just because I want to make sure it's the most diabolical trickery that I can possibly word into a sentence for you.
Great. Can't wait.
Ah, here we go. I've got one for you. So, number one, I have. This looks bad because now I have to think about it. So now you're going to think this one's a lie. I have fallen off a four-wheeler that was going roughly 30 miles an hour. I have pitched myself off of my snowmobile while I was taking snow embankments, probably a little too sharply, probably what I shouldn't have been doing. And I have rolled my side by side when I was taking a corner a little too fast and took what we in the biz like to call a dirt nap, which is where you basically just put it right on its side and there you sit. So there you go. Well, out of those three, which one do you think might be the lie, Joe?
Should I discuss my thinking or just go straight to what I think it is?
You can discuss your thinking a little bit. Tell me your
So
thoughts.
I know you are a big snowmobile dude, and our third episode you talked about the side by side,
Indeed.
and the way you described those two was pretty in depth. The first one, you had to think of how fast you were going, and you did wait, which you could have been like trying to get it in order, but it could have been a double bluff and saying, "Oh, you must think this is the lie."
Oh,
So I'm going to go with the double bluff theory and say that the four-wheeler was the lie.
Do you think so? Would you like to phone a friend?
I hate
I'm just kidding. This ain't Millionaire. You don't get any cheat code system. Sucker. I'm kidding. That was rude. Sorry.
Yeah,
I couldn't
thanks.
resist.
This is the last episode of the BS Buddies podcast.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We're no longer friends. We're not going to talk anymore. So you think the four-wheeler one
Yes,
is wrong,
just
do you, Joe?
frickin' tell me.
You are incorrect. Oh, God.
I'm
Thank the Lord.
0 for 2.
Oh for 2, Joe is.
I
It was a little bit of a double bluff, but not in the way you think. I have actually fallen off of a four wheeler that was going about 30 miles an hour. Um, the lie, to put this out there right away, is the dirt nap with the side by side. I have not rolled a side by side yet. I am a very safe and very cautious driver, as my wonderful girlfriend would tell you. Definitely not lying about that, but I have not rolled one to this date. The incidents for the occurrence of the first two was I was about 10 years old, and I was riding with, so it was my brother, at the time would have been his girlfriend, fiance. I'm not quite sure if they were engaged yet or not. And then it would have been one of my I guess you could say my niece. It's a weird family situation, so we'll say niece on the front, and then my nephew was on one of the back fender wells, and I was on the other back fender well. And at this time on the farm, we had a small blue heeler. Her name was Boo. She was a wonderful animal. I miss her dearly. She has since passed into the great play park in the sky. Um, but she had this terrible trait about her where she loved to bite at shirt cuffs and pant cuffs. And so, as we were driving down the field to do God knows what, get a wagon or something, she is booking it alongside the four wheeler, trying to bite at the ankles of my pants as we're driving. And I am sitting on the outboard right side as my brother makes a slow left turn. So, of course, those who are familiar with physics knows that all the weight shifts to the outside. And as she is trying to bite my cuffs, I'm trying to kick her away. My brother is trying to turn. All of these beautifully converged into the edge of my shoe catches one of the lugs on the four-wheeler tires and sucks it down, and I just went right off the side fender well and probably somersaulted 5, 6, 7 times in the dirt until I ended up in a sitting position. Let me tell you, that was not fun because all I saw was dirt sky, dirt sky, dirt sky, dirt sky, and then I finally ended up and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, what happened? And I start crying because I don't know if I've broken a bone, if my arms are twisted into a pretzel, I might never walk again. But my brother came over and picked me up, dusted me off, smacked me on the head, said, "Get back on the four wheeler and don't do that again." And away we went, and all was well in the world. And as for the snowmobile one, I can't tell you how many times I've pitched myself off of that snowmobile.
Yeah, I had a
Um,
feeling as soon as you said anything with the snowmobile, I'm like, it's the truth.
I once hit a little snow jump. I was probably booking it about 65, 70 miles an hour. There was a little frozen lake north of the house, and I took my sled out there. I wanted to see how fast I could get it going. Well, the sun was to my back, and for any of our viewers who might be south of the Mason-Dixon line who don't get to see snow regularly, when the sun is to your back and the snow sparkles, it is very hard to make out definition, and that's what we like to call snow blindness. And so I was booking it across the lake. I mean, like I said, I was looking down with 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, and I looked up and it was probably 30 feet in front of me when I saw the ridge line of snow stood about 2 feet high, and I realized, oh, it's too late to stop or brake because if I hit the brake, the track locks up. I'm just skidding on ice. So all I could do is let off the throttle, and I hit that bad boy, and I didn't go very high, but man, I coasted for like a solid 40 feet before I touched back down. Yeah, let's just say I brought the snowmobile back up to the house, parked it, shut it off, went inside, said, "Nope, I'm good for the day. I don't want to ride no more." So that was probably a little scary. But have not rolled a side by side UTV yet, so proud of that one. Keeping the record clean.
You're insane. Uh,
You're welcome. I try to be entertaining for everybody else watching.
my third group for two truths, one lie is family related. Uh, I couldn't think of for one of the truths. I couldn't think of one that Ian wouldn't know because I've talked so much about my family and he knows some of my family. So one of these you're obviously gonna know, but I think I'll get you on the other two. One,
Mm.
I have an uncle that is younger than me. Two, I graduated with my cousin. Three, I have yeah, yeah. You know that one. 3, I have 2 cousins who are taller than me, and I am 6'4".
Oh. Oh. Those are some good ones. Those are some really good ones. See, the problem here is, Joe, is that people in your family, in your extended family, are tall. I mean, even your two cousins, the ones that I know about, are taller than me. I'm like 6 foot flat. So that's very much a possibility.
But is the rest of the family that tall? That's the question.
That is the question. Let me put it this way. Your uh two truths and a lie here actually lines up with my last story because in the same way that you mentioned you have an uncle younger than you, I am actually an uncle to a niece and nephew who are older than me in a weird family situation that I will not go into because I don't need that kind of headache right
That's
now.
fair. That's fair.
So I think that I'm gonna have to go with the cousins that are taller than you, simply because I know how tall you are, and it would be quite an extremely impressive feat to have two that are taller than you. So I'm gonna go with the cousins one that are taller. That's a lie.
You are wrong.
It's impossible. I've been duped. Everybody, call the CIA, call the FBI. This is not Joe. This is a liar. I've been tricked. I've been lied to.
So,
Let go of that now before I cause any
uh,
damage.
when I was reading them, the cousin graduated. He graduated with one of my cousins, and I graduated with his younger brother. So, like we've known each other forever.
Hi, fellas. Hope you all doing well. If you're watching this.
Um, so the uncle, yeah, that's 100% a lie. The closest uncle I am to in age is like 30 years older than me. I knew you didn't know a lot about my extended family. That's why I went with that route. I have, so on the same side as those two cousins, we have another cousin who is 6'5". So he's slightly taller than me. But on my mom's side, which that side of the family is the short side. Like my oldest sister is 5'5", and I have a cousin who's 5'3" or 5'4" on that side. Um, but on my mom's side, like I have a female cousin who's like 6'1". I have a cousin who's about 6'2", but my other cousin on that side is 6'7". Yeah.
So tall. It's not fair.
So
Oh my god. I was duped. I was in fact tricked.
I'm
That was a good one.
I'm happy
That
I
was a
got
good
you
one.
on one of them.
Ah,
So
that was good. That was a good one. I didn't know. I mean, granted, I know you're tall and I've seen other members of your family that are tall, but I thought surely there is no way
surely
this
I am the
man
limit.
surely Joe doesn't have like a freaking Shaquille O'Neal in his family tree somewhere hiding out there. I don't know. Ah, you got me on that one. You got me on that one. God,
Okay,
when
I
I
think
look at
this is my last chance to try and get one of these right for you.
all right, all right. Got one more for you. How many? I've done two, and you've done three.
I've done
Okay,
3.
so
And
all
then I
right,
got
all
one
right.
more to finish it off.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Intriguing.
I have gotten here we go. I've got one. I'd like to put out beforehand that I am not endorsing or proud of the following statements that I'm about to make. Okay? Kids, don't try this at home. All right? Join the Marine Corps first and get in with a bunch of morons and then do it. Okay. It's alcohol related.
Oh boy.
Just cuz I want this to be a little fun. All right. So, Um, I have, here we go. I have drank sake that has contained a snake in it. I have ridden in the trunk of a car to make it past gate guards on base. And I have drank whiskey from Thailand that had a cobra and a scorpion in it.
I don't
That
like how
has
you
a
have two that are eerily similar. And I don't like how you said sake when I know you've been to Japan and I know you've been to Thailand.
I intentionally picked some very difficult ones for you. I knew this one would be a good stumper for you because I don't talk a whole lot about my escapades, we could put it,
I
well, from
wish you
my
would.
time in the service. I,
I know
you
there's some
know,
you will not tell me, and that's fair, but there you told me a couple though.
I have. Okay, here's the problem. I don't have any issue telling you, Joe.
Yeah, you
It's
don't
the
have to
problem
tell
that out of
everyone.
100, out of 100 stories that I have, maybe 15 of them are internet appropriate. Maybe 15.
Okay, so going back, sake with a snake,
Sake
trunk
that contained a
trunk.
trunk of a car to sneak past gate guards, and whiskey that had a cobra and a scorpion in it.
Hmm.
It's a good
So
one.
it
Pick some
is.
stumpers for you.
Like the last one, since you have that second one, it's kind of throwing me off. It it's kind of like the no way, but it's like that's it seems too obvious. Like the first one is pretty believable, but the second one is throwing me off because I know you've talked about like going through like the guards just plastered. So I don't know why you would be in the trunk anyway if you're brave enough to do that. Um, I may go 0 for 3, but I'm going to go with the trunk as a lie.
Oh, you're gonna go with the trunk as a lie. Very well. Well, Joe, I'm sorry to say that you're going 0 and 3 for this one. One that I have not done is I have not tried whiskey with the cobra and the scorpion in it.
That one was really throwing me off. It's like that's so out there that it could be true.
I have seen the bottle. It does in fact exist. There is a type of whiskey in Thailand. And in fact, I actually have a picture of it on my phone. I'll have to send it to you after this. But it's whiskey that's bottled up, and they have a cobra coiled inside, and then in the cobra's mouth is a scorpion with a stinger, like still poking on it, and it's like petrified inside this whiskey bottle. It's actually really, really cool. But the story for the first two, so to speak, as long as we're putting this out there. So the sake with a snake in it, when I was in Okinawa, a local bar has something called habu sake, which is sake that is made, and I'm not entirely sure if they use venom extract from the habu snake, which is native to Okinawa Island, but I do know for sure that the habu snake sits coiled at the bottom of the jar. And the bar that we used to frequent, called Crimey's, which is no longer a business, RIP, they used to have this big old mason jar sitting right on the front bar, and you could walk up and they would, advertise sake shot, 200 yen. And you go, what's the sake shot? And they go, you want sake shot? You go, yeah. And they go, okay. And they grab the cup and they just dip a ladle right there into the mason jar sitting on the table, and they put it over and they just give it to you neat. And you throw that sucker, and like, don't get me wrong, it's not like a snake is sitting down there and you're like, ew, it's all gross and shriveled. No, they have the mouth open so that you can see the fangs and everything poking out of that bad boy. So you knock it back, and yeah, that'll get you buzzing real quick. Let me put it that way. But the second one is, when we used to go out to the bars and party in Southern California when I was stationed down there. Sometimes when you're out at the bars, you might run into another group of guys that you know, and you're like, oh, hey, I didn't realize you guys were here. Or maybe you had two cars going out, but you only got one car coming back. And the thing is that they don't like your vehicles to be overcrowded when you're coming back on base. And so oftentimes what we would do is we just draw straws, metaphorically, meaning that everyone would just agree, hey, you're getting in the trunk. And so
What a
yeah, what
way.
you do is everybody would everybody who wanted to ride in the car, usually it was a first come first served. Whoever got to the car first got to sit in the seat, and then if you were last, tough shit big boy, you're getting in the back. And so yeah, one time I was popped open the trunk, and they're like, all right, crawl inside. And you get in, boom, they close her down, and then they'll be bumping the music, and you'll be back there like, woo, you're sending Snapchats to all your boys like, I'm in the trunk, man, I'm gonna take out your tail light. But you you'd every time you'd roll up to the gate, you'd always hear this just, hey, be quiet back there, we're rolling through the gate. Okay. And then you get through the gate, and then they'd always, hit all the potholes on the way through the gate. And you're like, oh, thanks, dude. And so yeah, I've ridden in the trunk of a car and gotten back on base that way.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, Joe. I don't mean to make you feel bad. I just had to pick some stumpers for you.
I've put someone in the trunk of my car to go to baseball practice once. Was it
I
needed?
see.
No. I had
Was it
three
funny?
I had three
Yes.
seats open and we put him in the trunk. No one wanted to give him a ride to the field, and I'm like, fine, I will, but the other guy that was with me, he's like, if we're giving you a ride, you're getting in the trunk. And it was my car. And he's like, if we're giving you a ride to the field, which I mean, you could walk to the field, but it was a long walk. But
You don't
yeah,
wanna walk that.
we would drive, and yeah, the only way we would give him a ride is if he was in the trunk.
Yeah, ironically enough, I think it was my car and I had to ride in the trunk for that. Like we used my car to get out of town, and then I'm the one who had to ride the trunk in the way back. So I don't know what democratic press words. I don't know what democratic. Oh my god! You know what? Skip.
You've
Next.
spent you've spent
Go.
too much time in the trunk. You're losing
That's-
oxygen. You're not focused.
Yeah, open it up. Get some air in. Get my brain neurons firing again. Let's do this.
For the last one, I'm gonna catch some strays for this one. This is an area of expertise that I do not have at all. So,
Ooh.
movies. I'm not a big movie person. It's For me, it's always been I don't want to sit down and watch a movie for like 2 hours. Granted, like I'll watch Twitch VODs for that long. But I've just never been super interested in like I need to see this movie or this show. Never really me. So much
That's fair.
so that in the past on my Discord server, I had a buddy who's huge into movies. We had a Culture Joe night once a month for it lasted about half a year before people got busy. So we started out with because he rattled off like 20 movies once, and I think I said I watched 2 or 3 of them. And these are well-known movies. So I figured
Interesting.
I will do
Interesting.
3 movies that people have asked me the most if I've watched.
Very well.
I will say there was a long time where all of these
We're unwatched.
I'm going to switch it up for this last one. We're not going 2 truths and a lie, mostly because I realized that I got it backwards.
2 lies and a truth?
2 lies and a truth.
Oh, God. My odds have been decreased. All right, hit me. Hit me. What do we
I
got?
went 0 for 3. You can take one more
Take
miss.
another L. Fair.
You went 2 for 3 so far. So 2 lies and a truth for this last one. You're going to hate me.
Oh,
I have
no.
never watched Die Hard. I have never watched Step Brothers. I have never watched Titanic.
What?
What one of those movies I have watched since then, thanks to Culture Joe Night. When I was
Die
22
Hard?
years old was the first time I watched one of these movies.
Die Hard, Titanic,
And Step Brothers.
and Step Brothers. Mm, okay. Okay. Let's break it down, right? Let's bust out the old thinking cap. Everybody ready? All right, everybody reach down, pull out your thinking
I
caps. Come
always
on.
have mine on. I don't know if it
I
helps me
never.
much, but
I was gonna put my hoodie up, but my headphones block that, so that's not happening. I never have my thinking cap on. I don't like to think much. Um, so everybody put your thinking caps on, right? We gotta dissect this one, right? Die Hard. It's very, very, very classic franchise. Also a Christmas movie if you're not aware of. And there's a lot of fantastic things about that movie franchise. However, being a big action macho shoot 'em up movie from the 80s, I don't particularly see that being up your alley. An exciting watch for sure, but not something I could see you picking out of your own free will or having people, I guess, be upset enough about that to show it to you. It's definitely a fun movie, but it's one of those, you see it when you see it type of situations. You know what I mean?
I also want to point out, I just realized this now, like none of these movies are similar.
Not at all.
Not
That's what makes
not
it
not a single one
that,
is similar.
that's what makes it complicated and good. Titanic. Titanic. Absolute classic by James Cameron. 1997 movie based on the tragedy of the real life sinking to the bottom of the Atlantic. Actually, a horror story about some poor sop who falls in love with a woman, freezes to death in the water, but we're skipping past that. That's a wonderful movie to watch, but it's also a hell of a time sink. That thing's like 2 hours and like 50 minutes. It's like a 3 hour
Yeah,
movie, I think.
I think I heard it's like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a long, long movie. It's definitely something that you would need like a free weekend to sit down and watch, and definitely not something I could see friends sitting down to watch. Oh, Joe hasn't seen this soppy love story. Well, let's show it to him. So I think out of those movies, I am going to have to go with Step Brothers as the truth because one, it's recent enough to be in the memory of our friend group, and two, it's funny enough, and there would be enough references in between a friend group that it's like it's one of those ones that you just have to see. Like, did we just become best friends? Yup. You want to go do karate in the garage? Yup. It's like, oh, night vision goggles. Oh, yeah. I wish we had these when we were kids. Even better. We got them when we're 40. So I'm going to have to go with Step Brothers is the truth, simply because I cannot accept that you haven't seen Step Brothers. It would hurt me too much.
Final answer.
Final answer. Lock it in.
So this is probably I'm gonna go down the line. The first one, I do get a lot of shit about this movie, I will say, because I have not watched Die Hard yet. I get a lot of shit about it during Christmas time, especially because people argue, like, is it a Christmas movie? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's a Christmas movie.
So I first watched this movie at 22 years old. I was going to give another hint, but it was going to spoil it. Um, movie night with friends for Culture Joe Night. The movie Step Brothers was not there. I have never seen Step Brothers. We watched Titanic, the whole thing.
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name.
So those quotes that Ian was saying, no idea. Like I know the best friends one, like just because I've heard people say it. But yeah,
Yeah.
the night vision goggles, I would have had no idea if we weren't talking about the movie.
Oh my God. I'm I'm shocked and appalled. How? You guys watch Titanic? That's
Titanic.
Titanic. Brothers. It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer, Joe. Come on. You'd know what that meant if you watched Step Brothers.
I'm trying to think of other notable movies that I have not watched. I did watch Inception through Culture Joe Night. I didn't watch it before. Um,
That's a really good one. Yeah.
I'll have to look up some notable movies.
All right. Sometime, Joe, we are going to have to watch Step Brothers. One, because I haven't watched it in a while. Two, because you need to watch it. And three, because that is a fantastically stupid yet funny movie. You have to call me Nighthawk. You have to call me Dragon. So many references that you're missing.
What are I said notable classic movies, and like I got movies I've never heard of. Other ones I have not watched, notable ones that I'm just looking up. The Godfather, haven't seen a single one of those. Shawshank Redemption, never seen that. I have seen Pulp Fiction, that's on this list. I didn't like the movie, I thought it was stupid.
You didn't like Pulp Fiction?
No, I thought no.
All right, that's to be fair, Pulp Fiction is a bit of an acquired taste, but that's only because Quentin Tarantino as a director loves to do those weird jump cuts in between scenes that don't make a whole lot of sense. I feel like if you rewatched it, you might have more of an appreciation now that you know what's happening. But yeah.
I've never seen
fair.
Saving Private Ryan. I've never seen The Goonies. I've never seen The Mask. I watched Back to the Future, but only the second one.
Okay, I mean Back to the Future is good, but okay. You've never seen The Mask? You never seen The Goonies? You've never okay, The Mask is like some of Jim Carrey's best work. Come on.
Yes, I know.
Have you seen The Truman Show?
Nope.
Okay, we're bringing back Culture Joe Night.
I've watched Footloose and I didn't like that movie.
The new one or the old one?
There's a new one? The 1984 one.
Okay, you watched the Kevin Bacon one. That one, 80s movies have a particular charm to them. Footloose is one of those movies it's fun to watch once and to say like, yeah, I've seen it, and then after that, it's yeah.
I mean, there's other ones that I noticed, but I wouldn't say like, oh, classics that everyone should watch. I don't know. You could probably list a lot, and
it's okay. I'm kind of in the same boat as you because I
don't
often
think
get
anyone's
chastised.
in the same boat as me. But
I
think I
often
know
get
where you're going.
chastised. I was gonna say I often get chastised because I have not seen a lot of Disney movies. In fact, I've seen very, very few Disney movies. Okay, in recent years, that has changed because I had a similar thing where everyone was like, okay, we need to show Ian all these Disney movies. But for the longest time, I had never seen Brother Bear or like the Aristocats or Tarzan or like any of the old 2D animated Snow White, Cinderella, any of that nonsense. Atlantis, what's the one where the dudes got the flying ship? Um, oh God, I can't think of it.
I can only think of like Peter Pan.
No, I haven't. I don't think I've seen that one. Yeah, there's a lot of Disney movies that I hadn't seen, so I'm in this. I feel your pain in that regard, but the other ones, unforgivable.
Yeah, I used to work with someone who was huge into movies, and he listed like Step Brothers and Titanic, and at that time I hadn't watched it. He listed off about 7 of them, and I think I don't think I saw a single one. And again, I was his assistant manager. He asked me these. He threw his hands up and walked away from me. And he had nothing
Demoted.
to do with me for the rest of the day.
Understandable.
But we are almost approaching an hour for this episode.
Yeah, I feel like it. Rob, you want me to do one more? You want me to churn out one more? Do we wanna
Nah, that's
wrap
all
this
right.
one up here?
We should probably wrap it up. Because I think you still have to eat. So
I do. I have supper waiting upstairs for me, so I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't make my way up there soon.
I'll do my quote for the day by Dr. Seuss. Sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think I will save my alternate ending for a different video, and I will go with the quote that I found earlier, which somewhat aligns with yours because, we're doing these inspirational, semi-serious ones today. And that's going to be fail soon so that you can succeed sooner.
Couple solid quotes for the night. And this wraps
Love
up
it
our
when it lines
longest
up.
episode so far that we've done. It was a lot of fun. If you guys want to see more of these, we can whip something up again. Or we could talk about movies that we haven't seen and make a whole episode about that.
Oh, God.
But thank you guys for BSing with us today. Follow or subscribe to become a Bud today, and we will see you next time when Culture Joe Knight returns to my Discord server.
And we show him what Step Brothers is, and he gets the references. But in the meantime, just take her easy now.